we at, darling?
South Africa.
But where specifically?
The Mall of Africa?
Hey.
Hey folks, welcome back. We're in South Africa. As you can see, my boo and I were at the Mall of Africa. I'll speak a little bit more about kind of what we were up to a little bit later in the video, but our first stop was Nomad, where you can see I am shaking, trembling in an attempt to dance. We had some really great food there. We just ate like kings and queens at the Mall of Africa. It was wonderful. We stayed at the Ellipse Waterfall Executive Apartments. So you can see that I was making a cup of tea. This is actually in the first room that we had originally booked, and we switched over to another one, which I'll kind of talk about later. But we ended up going back to the mall for breakfast at Life Grand Cafe, where we had kind of like standard breakfast, eggs, bacon, toast, potatoes, things like that. But one of the things that I love the most about going to the mall, really any kind of mall, was just seeing the kids kind of playing around in the water. Really, really cute.
Hello, good people, and welcome back to sunny Johannesburg. It is just about lunchtime, so we're about to go get some lunch, explore around the mall. We have a couple things that we need to pick up, and then we'll kind of just be chilling out for the day. This is my view right now. You see the mall right there. It takes us like 2 seconds to walk. That's us for today. No real plans, really, just getting some lunch, hanging out at the mall, and picking up a few things.
So we went back to the mall to Rocco Mama's, which I love. I love their wings. And then we ended up looking at a demo apartment for the Ellipse Waterfall apartments, the apartments that we had stayed at. It was just really nice. It was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath type of situation. And I just loved the decor. One thing that we did a lot kind of while I was working and even just kind of randomly was watch the news. We watched a lot of South African news. But we were always tuned in, and I just love how everyone is kind of in the know of things that are going on, and they kind of show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's something that I feel like you don't typically see in American media. So you can see here they're talking about like wages, they're talking about like electricity and water and all sorts of things.
Look at this, like dad on the Christmas story.
Hey folks, sorry I'm like dying on camera. Welcome back to another day in this week's vlog. You haven't really heard me talk much or vlog much of me, just because I'm kind of sick. I think I have like allergies or something, and it's been like that for a week. Today is Thursday, and we have been in Joburg for almost a week now, and it's been lovely. Like, I just landing here the first time, I was super nervous because I'd never been to the country before. And of course, you know, coming from the States and just the way that we're conditioned, thinking, oh my gosh, everything's gonna go wrong and all this other stuff, right? It's been really nice so far. We have been going to the mall a lot to like get breakfast and stuff because food here is cheap, so we haven't really like cooked or anything like that. And because there are like certain things that we're not paying for that we normally pay for at home, we have a little bit more spending money this time around. So like we still budgeted for this trip, we still save for this trip just like we do for everything else, because we're very big on trying to do as much out of pocket as possible, especially with the way things are going now. Like, I feel like we're going to be, if we're not already, in a global recession sooner than later. And of course, you know, the timing of all of this when we really want to move, because it's very possible, depending on like how long the visas take to process and be approved, might be moving in like 6 to 9 months. You never know. But I just wanted to like pop in a little bit and just like chat, because my boo is in here, and like sometimes it's really weird vlogging with him because I normally vlog in the studio, and because we're in this like smaller space together all the time, it's just a little strange. So I just feel like a little embarrassed to be vlogging around him, which I shouldn't, because I vlog around him all the time. But yeah, I sound horrible. I feel okay. It's just, I think it's really just allergies. Like the air is different, Even here in the apartment, like this right here is the air conditioning unit, and that's on all the time. So like I'm about to wrap up because I'm really cold. This is what happens when you marry somebody who runs hot like freaking sauna. Hello. It might be a little better. Let me sit back. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, the air is on and I'm not turning it off because I don't want it to get too hot in here. But I can kind of recap, a little bit first, like couple of days. So as I may have mentioned, I don't know, okay, first of all, I just want to apologize for not posting because it was not my intention to post this little, like at this point, I'm only really posting like once a month or so, but it's really just because my life is just so boring. It's so boring. You guys know that we're in the process of trying to get our visas for South Africa. So there's really no updates on that other than the fact that it's still processing. And I'm hoping that we'll have an answer about that before the end of the year. But there's really no way of knowing or really kind of tracking until, they give us a yes or a no. So on that front, we're flying blind, right? Like we have no idea. We have no idea what the status is of that other than that it's just processing. We left on Thursday and we took probably the shortest, shortest route, no, not the shortest, the quickest route. And that was a flight from Austin to Atlanta via Delta, and then Atlanta to Joburg. Now, mind you, that flight from Atlanta to Joburg, y'all, it was like 15 and a half hour flight. And that's the longest flight I think either of us had ever been on. We've been to almost every restaurant in the Mall of Africa specifically. Oh, I didn't tell you guys that we're staying at the Ellipse Waterfall Executive Apartment. So it's like across the street from the Mall of Africa. So it's a really great location, really safe, like everyone's like really, really friendly here. You know what I mean? It's very different than the States. One thing though, and I wanted to get you guys' thoughts, especially folks from South Africa. Paul and I, as we like walk around and stuff, people stare, like heavy stare. And I mean like, will be staring at my face, and like if I catch their gaze, I kind of just like stare back because staring doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. So I just want to know, like my fellow South African brothers and sisters, like do Paul and I just like scream, American or that we're from the States or whatever? Because I feel like people have been staring at us like knowing that we're different or that we're not from here or something. I think that, I don't know, like the style is definitely different. Like for instance, men's fashion here is very different than what Paul wears. Paul is very like the male version of plain Jane, right? Like he doesn't wear a lot of bright colors. He doesn't wear a lot of like outlandish, garish patterns on his clothing. He doesn't wear skinny jeans. He doesn't wear shorts that are like showing all this thigh and everything. He just dresses, very classic, very plain. Just by the men's fashion alone, he would stand out in that regard. But I don't know but I've seen other men, not many, but I've seen other men with like very similar styles. So I'm just kind of like, why are they staring? And then I'm like, why are they staring at me? Like, are they trying to, like, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I mean, obviously I'm black, but I'm like, I feel like I don't look like I'm from South Africa. Do I blend in? Do I not blend in? I don't know. But we're hoping that next week we'll be able to rent a car. So we'll be able to experience driving here a little bit because, they drive on the left side of the road instead of the right. We have looked at a couple of houses because that's kind of the main reason why we're here, is really just to look at houses. Because obviously the housing market right now is so volatile. The timing of us wanting to move is so bad, guys. It's so freaking bad. But I'm trying to have faith. I'm trying to have faith in myself, in my boo, and in God, and just knowing that Paul and I have been through a lot in our relationship. And it's funny because all the bad things that happen to us aren't like between us. You know what I mean? It's not like an argument between us or anything like that. And I'm so sorry if these vlogs are a little bit longer than normal because I just feel like there's so much to include, and like there's so many things that we want to do and like experience and everything, so I want to make sure that I cover everything, but I also want to make it interesting enough so that you guys aren't bored to death and just sitting here looking at me looking like a bum, sounding horribly sick. Okay, so the room situation. The apartment that we had, I guess, rented essentially for the month originally was a little bit bigger than this. Like the balcony's bigger, the bathroom is bigger. Like the bathroom is like a full bath, right? It has a bath and separate shower. And the bedroom was definitely bigger. Not by much, but it was definitely bigger. And the kitchen wasn't bigger, but it had, well, yeah, it was. I think everything was bigger, truthfully speaking. Everything was bigger. I want to say like 15 or 20 meters square. That apartment, the original apartment that we had booked and everything, beautiful, you know, all that kind of stuff. Even this one's beautiful too. But it had one problem, and that's it didn't have any air conditioning. Now, mind you, these apartments are, I guess you can say they're a little bit on the newer side. So everything that you would kind of expect to be here isn't here yet, because they're literally in the process of building it. Like, there's construction being done here every day on like one of the buildings that they're like trying to finalize. You know, my boo was like, oh, where's the air? You know, da da da. And it's like, you know, my boo runs hot and he needs air conditioning. Like, fans don't really cut it. But even though the room was like a great size and everything, it didn't have any air conditioning. There was another room, this room, that she also kind of manages, and this one does have air conditioning, which is why I'm wrapped up. But the caveat to it is that it's smaller. But honestly, it's been fine. I feel like we're kind of stepping on each other's toes a little bit here. It's just because we're so used to having like literally a whole floor in between us. Not a whole floor, but like, you know, we're on different floors, generally speaking, when we're at home. Like, he's on the bottom floor, you know, on the first floor, you know, doing whatever he's doing, and then I'm on the second floor in the house, like, you know, doing my thing. So, you know, we're used to having some space between us when it comes to just, you know, cohabitating together. So it is a little bit different. And mind you, it's for a month, right, that we're going to be living like this. It's not just a couple of weeks or, you know, like a week or two. So, you know, we're super grateful that she's been super chill and trying to, you know, accommodate us and everything. Like, she's for sure getting 5 stars, because if I could give her 20,000 stars, I would, because she's just been so accommodating. She's so nice. Like, there's some other things that, you know, like we've just kind of been interested in, that she's like, oh yeah, you know, like, let's have some dinner, let's do this, let's do that. And like, again, speaks to just how wonderful the people are here, right? She's not giving us any money. She's not like, you know, saying, oh yeah, I'm going to give you a business and you can run it, make money off of that, or anything like that. She's not giving us anything except her kindness and just her professionalism. And so shout out to Pamela, honestly, for doing the damn thing, honestly, because she's made our experience that much better. And it's funny because Paul's like, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm always bringing issues to you, and like not concerns, but just like all these different things. And she's like, no, it's totally fine. She's like, you want to be comfortable where you stay, like, I completely understand. And she's like, I have kids, so I completely understand having to needing to be adaptable and flexible. And I just really appreciated that. Yeah, so today starts very long couple of days, and that's because I'm on call tonight. So that's going to be an interesting ordeal. Working so far hasn't been too bad, because I'm still working like 8 to 5 CST, but here it's like 3 to 12, so it's a little bit different. But I'm not really tired. If anything, I'm just frustrated with the actual work, but I can get into that later, because I would feel these same frustrations if I was back in the States. But it's been okay so far, truthfully speaking. Like, I'm so glad that we're here. I'm so glad that we've been blessed to be able to come here again, because again, coming here is not very cheap. And you really have to save, like really be on your saving game in order to come here. You know, obviously there is such a thing as like peak season and everything like that, but everything is expensive now, just globally speaking, right? And we all know this, and we're all feeling it. You know, there's that. But I have a couple of things that I am going to be doing. I'm just going to be chilling out, not doing much today or over the next couple of days, just because, you know, I want to make sure that I'm well rested, so that if I do get any sort of criticals coming in, that, you know, I'm able to work on them and do what I got to do. Yeah, I don't know when I'll check in with you again. It might not be until next week, truthfully speaking, because I'm just exhausted from being sick. Like, because I've been like this since Saturday, and it's Thursday. And this is probably the longest that I've been sick in a really long time. And I think it's just because of like dry air. Like, I have to sleep on, like, my neck is just constantly hurting because I have to sleep on like 3 pillows to keep propped up, because if I lie flat, nose is stopped all the way up. So I might go outside and chill on the balcony for a little bit and call it a day.